Okay, if y'all ready, we'll go ahead and get started. If you would, pray with us, please. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come before you again and ask for your blessings, ask for your guidance. We pray, Father, that you would guide our hands so that we can make the best decisions for the people of the county if possible. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to live where we do. We thank you for the people who guarantee those freedoms for us. We ask that you would watch after our first responders and our military who put their lives at risk for us on a daily basis. Guide us, Father, that we might make the best decisions for them and for the people. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The minutes for approval are the November 5th executive session meeting minutes, the November 5th special call meeting minutes, the November 13th special call work session meeting minutes, November 13th work session meeting minutes, the November 14th public comment meeting minutes, the November 14th regular meeting minutes, and the November 16th special call work session meeting minutes. Assuming that we approve it. You know what? I've been here almost 5 years now, and that's the one thing I forget every single week. Unless I have changes. I don't have changes, so I forgot it. Okay, I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Now, what I just said. Does anybody have any corrections to those minutes? If not, I would make a motion that the minutes be approved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Cindy, would you give us our financial statement, please?
This is the financial statement for November 30th. Each department should be at 92% of their expenditure budget used. Departments over budget at November 30th are tax commissioner at 93%, sheriff's office 98%, detention center 103%, superior court 105%, district attorney 93%, code and regulatory compliance 95%, and 911 dispatch at 95%. Overall, we are at 84% of the total revenue budget received and 93% of the total expenditure budget used. Total revenue received to date, $19,493,572. Total expenditures to date, $21,612,077.
Are there any questions or comments on the financial statement? Thank you, Sandy. That brings us to citizens wishing to speak. Anybody that would like to speak on any topic? If there is no one, we will move on to unfinished business. First item will be resolution on the 2020 concrete bid. Jim, you want to bring us up to date on that one?
Well, the concrete bid, I have not actually seen the advertisement, but who is the low bidder? West?
Well, that's what we wanted to look at.
There's so many different prices for different things. We didn't know what was important to y'all, so.
But I have another one right here.
I didn't see that, but I think traditionally West has been
Gentlemen, to give you time to look that over,
Okay.
why don't we just continue this to the special call meeting on the 23rd? Just put it on the agenda for that.
Okay.
If that works for you.
Works for me.
Okay. Discussion and possible action on the pool. I expressed yesterday my frustration over the fact that we're not making more progress on the pool than we are. It seems that we've spent many months just trying to figure out where to put it. I think we've settled pretty much now on putting it in the same place that the old pool is, so hopefully we'll be able to make some progress on that at this point. We already have approval to bid for the demolition of the old pool. I would like to go ahead and proceed with that. Is there anything that would stop us at this point from doing that? Okay, then we will go ahead and place that ad for bid and try to get that going. Any discussion on that? If not, next item is discussion and possible action of the lease renewal with the State Properties Commission. We have received letters saying that they will not be renewing and they will be vacating the property on January 31st. So that is going to open up a number of possibilities for us. And we're looking forward to being able to utilize that property in a way that will be very beneficial overall. Any comments or discussion on that? Next item is discussion and possible action of the watershed dams. I have met with the folks in the state on that. They have assured me that all of our watershed dams are safe. They have been inspected, and I've actually seen the inspection reports. They brought those to my office and asked me to sign off on them, which I did. And then they took them to the Limestone Valley meeting that night and had the Limestone Valley folks sign off on them. And they've now sent it to the state to have the state representatives sign off on it. Once those folks have signed off and they get it back, they're going to give me a copy of all of the inspections, and we'll have the documentation that actually shows that these dams are safe. And the big point there is that they have been inspected, they are deemed to be safe, and we don't want people living below those dams to feel like they're endangered at this point. But neither do I want anybody to just take my word for it. We want to have the documentation to show it, so we should have that before too long. Any discussion on that? Discussion and possible action on approval of MOU with the Gilmer folks. Commissioner Ferguson, if you'll take that.
Yes, we are making some revisions on that, and we'll be discussing and voting on that at the December 23rd.
Yes.
So, got that.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
I haven't read about it today. We call it there next year. Oh, I didn't see it. Okay. Discussion and possible action on changing some work session and regular meeting dates due to conflicts of schedules. We have 3 meeting dates. Normally, we meet every second Thursday, and the work session is just the Wednesday before that. I used to say every second Wednesday, but that got me in trouble because it doesn't always turn out that way. But we do meet every second Thursday. There is a provision that if we need to change that day, we can, given sufficient advertising and notice. We have 3 dates that we have a conflict for in 2020, primarily for ACCG training events that some or all of us may need to attend. So those 3 dates that we need to change, we will post that in the, on the website. We also will include those changes on the meeting dates that we'll be publishing in the Times Courier shortly. And in addition, for those particular dates, usually at the beginning of the year, we just publish the dates of all the meetings, and we don't necessarily publish it beyond that. But for those particular days that have been changed, we will also publish the notice of the change for a couple of weeks ahead of those particular dates as well, because we want to make sure everybody gets the word. The dates that will change will be the March 11th and 12th meeting will be changed to March the 16th and 17th. The May 13th and 14th meeting will be changed to May the 11th and the 12th. And the June 10th and 11th meeting will be changed to June the 15th and the 16th. And I would make a motion that we make those changes in the meeting dates.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Final adoption of the chapter titled Commercial River Outfitting Ordinance of the Gilmer County Code. This particular change will exclude private entities from being defined as a commercial outfitter. If the float starts and ends on private property, then it's not something that we would be regulating, and it is the only change. Is there any discussion on that? If not, I would make a motion that we approve the final adoption of the chapter titled Commercial River Outfitting Ordinance.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Discussion and possible action of the resolution for a local T-Splosh. David has assured me multiple times that the board doesn't promote this. So I want to be just real clear in saying that if a local T-Splosh is adopted or if a local T-Splosh is rejected, I'm perfectly fine either way. This is a decision that the people will have to make, and we want to put this forward, or I want to put this forward, so that people in the county will have an opportunity to vote on this. And what it boils down to is you have two options. If the T-Splosh is passed, there'll be a number of improvements we can make, from paving gravel roads, better maintaining, generally getting our roads in shape over a 5-year period. If it's not approved, then business just goes on as usual. And that's pretty much the gist of it. A T-Splosh, local T-Splosh, every penny that comes into the state, to the county rather, stays within the county. It must be used for transportation purposes and nothing else. So that said, is there any discussion on the possibility of having a vote for a local T-Splosh? If not, I would make a motion that we proceed with that.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Discussion and possible action of a local complete count committee for our 2020 census. And what I think you said we needed a resolution for that.
There should be a copy in the document.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so basically it says that we'll partner with the Census Bureau for the census. We'll encourage all county residents to participate in events and initiatives that will raise the overall awareness to achieve a complete and accurate count of all persons within our borders. Is there any discussion on this resolution for the complete count committee for the census?
I move approval of the resolution.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Discussion and possible action on the 2020 road paving list. Jim, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat on this one. And whatever happens, it's Jim's fault, so. Okay.
I have looked at the paving list that the commission has already decided on, and I have absolutely no problem with that. The one caveat that I want to make to you is that there was a road that was scheduled to be done in 2019, and that is Howard Simmons Road. And that, if that road, if we don't have enough money left to be able to do that, I would like to recommend to you that we add Howard Simmons Road to the 2020 list. And that is in the event that we have to add that to the 2020 LMIG, because if it was supposed to be done in 2019 and it has not been done. But the rest of the roads I have absolutely no problem. Howard Simmons Road is a little bit different than your average run-of-the-mill road in that it has a railroad crossing, it has curb and guttering, it requires milling of the asphalt, the existing asphalt up, and the striping, it is essentially striping 4 lanes plus 2 turn lanes, and that is at the intersection of Old 5. So Howard Simmons Road, I would strongly suggest that we add that to the 2020 list.
We do need to add that to the 2020 list. It'd be nice if we could still do it in 19. I don't know how much money's left either, but
Well,
or if the weather would allow us.
my recommendation to the commission is that for the roads that we have paved, they need to be striped. And that is a higher priority to me than Howard Simmons Road paving. So we strike what we have paved, and if we have enough money, then we will start on Howard Simmons Road. If we don't, then we will ask DOT to extend Howard Simmons Road to the 2020 LMIG project list.
Okay. Just for the record, the roads that we're thinking of, that we have added so far to this point, to the 2020 LMIG project list, is there's about 2 miles of Wardtown Road that would be repaved. There's 1 mile of Flat Branch Road that would be repaved with tar and chip, that hill that gets so slippery to try to alleviate that. Hickory Ridge Drive would be repaved with tar and chip. Old Parker Place Road would be paved tar and chip.
Yeah, tar and chip.
It's currently gravel.
It's currently gravel.
Old Parker Terrace is currently gravel and would be paved tar and chip.
Correct.
Pine Mountain Drive is currently gravel and would be paved tar and chip.
Right.
Pleasant Gap Circle is currently tar and chip, would be repaved tar and chip.
We would pave it, Charlie. I would strongly recommend Pleasant Gap Circle be paved asphalt instead of tar and chip. It is a highly traveled road. It collects traffic off of Pleasant Gap Road. Well, it collects traffic off of a number of roads. And it intersects, it's actually a half moon. It intersects with Highway 282 at 2 different points.
Okay. Pleasant Gap Circle.
Pleasant Gap Circle, yes.
Pleasant Valley Road, currently gravel, would be paved tar and chip.
Pleasant, yes, and one of the questions now, and we've talked about this, Pleasant Valley Road, if we want to expand the right-of-way there, that will take some time to do. I mean, it would be another Ridgeway project.
Right.
But we would at least start, we would start on that.
And I want to mention too that this is our wish list essentially. And so there may be roads that are on this list that it turns out we can accommodate in 2020, and we may have to roll them over to 2021. But this is the wish list. Ralston Drive is tar and chip, would be repaved tar and chip. Round Top Road is currently asphalt, would be repaved asphalt.
Round Top Road, and my recommendation on Round Top Road, and I have not had a chance to talk to Gary McVeigh with the Water and Sewer Authority.
Yeah.
There is a project that is planned for extension of the water line from actually Old South Farms is where the water line stops now. And I don't know how far. Eventually what they want to do is extend it all the way to the Pickens County line. But my recommendation would be that we make that the last road, depending on what their schedule is, because we don't want to put new asphalt down
Right.
and then have the Water and Sewer Authority come in and do damage to it.
Yeah.
Let them do their work, and then we would come in and we
Yeah.
would pave afterwards.
Okay. Sherry Lee Estates is currently tar and chip, would be repaved tar and chip.
Tar and chip.
The end portion of Turniptown Road that is currently gravel would be paved tar and chip.
Yes, now, and that particular section of road, and we've looked at it and talked about it a lot, and just so the commissioners understand, and any of the public that may be here, there is no room to expand the right-of-way there. So basically because of Turniptown Creek, what we would basically be doing is paving a single lane road.
Right. Okay. And then finally, Bodie Road would be paved to the top of the hill.
At the top of
The
the
tar and
hill,
chip.
approximately 1 mile.
Okay, those are the roads that are on the list. And then with the addition of
Howard Center.
Howard Simmons Road,
Yes.
put that here. Now, there's also an issue that the figures that we're using for the cost per mile of paving for both tar and chip and asphalt were low. So what we've got is we've got this list of roads that we would like to pave or repave, as the case may be. And we've got, we're gonna have about maybe $920,000.
It's 60, I believe.
I mean, I'm counting our 30%.
Okay, yeah, with our matching portion.
I was thinking it was 7-something, with our 30% would make it up to 9-something.
What we do with our matching portion though, sir, is in kind. That's in kind.
Yeah, but that still counts.
It
so.
still counts.
Yes.
It still counts. Yeah.
The point being though, that basically, even under the lower figures, we've got about $1.3 million worth of paving that we've mentioned, and that's, turns out that it's going to be low. So the bottom line is, we're going to have to work something out where we'll pave as many of these as we can, and the ones that we can't, we'll roll over to 21. Does that sound right?
Roll over to the next year.
The
Yes,
next
sir.
year. So it's just going to be a matter of getting together and working out the dollars.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I will tell you, based on the, I haven't had a chance to actually look at this year's numbers, but by the time you count the equipment, the manpower, and the materials that go into repaving a road, you're looking at about $76,000 a mile to pave and stripe a tar and chip road.
Okay.
For a asphalt road, you're looking at, and again, it depends on the road, but it can run as high as $200,000 a mile. And what we do, so the public understands, is that we try to make the grant money go as far as we can. And we actually do this, or we have been doing this, with the exception of 2017. We have actually been doing this with county forces, which means that our people are pulled away from other things that they're doing. And what we do is we charge the labor and the cost of the equipment to that project. And that's a benefit, as the financial officer will tell you. It's a benefit to the county in doing that, because what we already have that money budgeted, the wages budgeted, okay? But we're able to charge that against the state grant. So it puts money that you can use for other things into the county coffers.
Right. And I want us to do that with tar and chip, but I think for the asphalt, I like what we did in 17, where we provided materials and bid out the equipment and labor.
I like it too, Charlie, because of the fact that it takes so much manpower and so much time and so much equipment to be able to put down hot mix, that it takes us away from the day-to-day things that the road department should be doing. Tar and chip, basically we can handle it with our dump trucks, with our chip spreader, with our distributor truck. We can basically do that, and we can do it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The asphalt takes a lot of time. And then when we finish with the paving, we still have to hire a private contractor to come in and do the striping.
Right. Okay. Do either of y'all have any roads that you want to add to this list, or should we add? Okay.
I do not, I trust Jim.
Okay.
What we will be doing is we'll be submitting the list to DOT District 6, to Karleen, who is our state aid coordinator. Goes straight to her, and we'll be working with her. She will tell us in January if we're approved, and if they follow years past, in January, Sandy usually gets a check. She is able to sit on about $700,000 to $800,000 until we, and earn interest on it until we're ready to actually start the work.
But now, when we submit this request to them, we have to have, at that point, made all of our choices here and submitted just what we think we can.
Yes,
We can do.
but we still have the option, sir, of going back and amending
Right.
the request. But we have to be able to justify our reasons for doing it.
Right. Well, what I would like to suggest to the other commissioners is that in approving this list, that they would allow you and me to get together, do all the, see what all the
Necessary
figures
paperwork.
are, and see what combination of these roads we can work into the actual figures.
You'll have to sign the submission anyway.
Well, no, but I need the approval. So what I would like would be, when we approve this list, to further approve the, allowing the two of us to work out all these figures and see which roads get for 20 and which will have to roll over to 21 without having to come back for a second approval. Okay, like that.
And then you'll let us know as you find out, Charlie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll be, Carla, I'll be happy to submit to you
Yeah.
exactly what we're able to do and what we have to roll over to 2021.
And y'all get copies of whatever's
Yeah.
submitted. We just,
I
we're working on December 31st
Right.
deadline.
Yeah, I understand. Right.
Well, I'll second the motion. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, now I know you tabled to the 23rd, but I have had a chance to look at the two bids, the two concrete bids that you have received. One is from Wayne Davis Concrete of Tallapoosa, Georgia. The other is from West Block. West basically just went into a greater detail than Wayne Davis, but when I take and I look at the numbers, the West Block, for the type of concrete that we use, now,
Yeah.
I know you might be building a swimming pool and things like that, but the specifications here, I would recommend to you that West Block be awarded the contract for
Okay.
2020.
Okay. Well, then, I don't see any reason why we can go ahead and approve that tonight. And if that's your recommendation, I would make the motion.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. I'll get that. Okay. Appointment of two members to the Joint Development Authority Board. This is actually going to be the Gilmer Pickens County Joint Development Board. There are two positions whose terms are expiring. That would be Alan Davenport and Penelope Marshall. They are willing to serve again, and I would make a motion that they be reappointed to the Gilmer Pickens County Joint Development Authority.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next item is appointment of two members to the Planning Commission Board. Expiring members are Paul Mooney and Lamar Walker. They are both willing to serve again, and I would make a motion that they be reappointed to the Planning Commission Board.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Item 8, the discussion of possible action for rent of airport space for the Georgia Forestry Commission has been postponed to the 23rd special call meeting. Discussion and possible action of a change order for airport grant project. This is to accommodate some changes that were required for soil erosion control. If y'all have had an opportunity to look it over, do you have questions or?
Recommend approval of the change order.
Did y'all want to incorporate a subsequent approval for any future change orders?
Yeah, we
talked about
discussed that.
at the work session.
How do they change the recommendation?
And authorize the chairman to sign or approve any subsequent change orders up to whatever dollar amount that y'all are willing to agree to. And remember, if the contract says 100,000, the county's portion is only about 10,000. So.
Amend that to add approval for future change orders not to exceed 50,000 per change order.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Yes.
Today, I met with our engineers and the general contractor on the airport project, and the punch list items that I think you all got a copy of. If you didn't, I'll get you a copy. All of those punch list items have been addressed and taken care of. And to date, we still have about $100,000 in the grant that we have not paid, that we have not used. So there is ample room, if there should be any additional change orders there is ample room there in the grant for you to be able to do that.
Now, that $100,000, is that after this has been approved and taken out, we still have the 100,000? Okay, good. Okay. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Did we get a second on that? I'll second it.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, we have some rezoning requests. Will not. It will not, Jim. Will not.
Will not?
It will not.
Okay.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Okay. May take me 2 hours to find my place. Yeah, I'm usually different. I'm looking at your notes. Okay. First one is for James Waters, from C1 commercial to R3 residential multifamily, low density, and this would be to be able to build a duplex. And personally, I have no problem with it. And I would make a motion to be approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is for Cynthia L. Hillsman and Shirley Giuliano, from R1 residential low density to R1 residential low density with conditional use. And this will be to build a barn with a guest home as an upper level on that. Given the acreage involved, I have no problem with it myself.
No problem, Tom.
Then I would make a motion to be approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is Andrew K. Donaldson, from A1 agricultural to R1 residential low density. This is to combine 2 parcels. And personally, I have no problem with it.
I'm all good to try.
Then I would make a motion to be approved. All in favor? Aye. Okay, what I would like to do we'd take 13, 15, and 17 together. These are three separate parcels owned by Elizabeth and Robert Gunter. And the request is for rezoning from R1 residential low density to A1 agricultural. Each one of these three is for one of three different parcels. And personally, I'm okay with it. All right, then I would make a motion that this 13, 15, and 17 be approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next three are the same parcels. This is for Elizabeth and Robert Gunter. This would be from the A1 agricultural that they've been approved for to A1 agricultural with conditional use for each of these three, and that would be for a farm winery and an apiary. I hope I said that right. This would be for honey and making wine with honey. So personally, I'm okay with it. I would like to, I think I would want to condition it on the fact that access to it should be off 515, which I think is the current plan anyway. But I would like to add that condition to the approval for it. So I would make a motion that these be approved, conditioned on access from 515.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next one is for Holly Rock Limited, from residential low density to A1 agricultural. And this is in order to combine a parcel of property with a larger parcel. And I'm okay with it myself. So I would make a motion that it be approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Discussion and possible action on leasing county property. There's been a lot of things that have been discovered on this one since yesterday. And it's one of these things like the more you find out, the more you need to look. So we're still trying to identify specifically the piece of property here, because if it's what we think it is, then it was conveyed to the county with the stipulation that if the county ever decided not to use it for the public, that it would revert back to the original owner. And further, that it was conveyed to the county on the stipulation that it be used for the public good. So, not quite sure what we can do with it other than just start making sure we maintain it better, but it's pretty clear that we're not going to be selling it. So, with that, I would say that this should be tabled until our January meeting, when we have an opportunity to find out more about the specific property and the circumstances and conveyance and so forth. David, do we need a motion to that? Okay. Yeah, okay. Discussion and possible action on quarterly budget amendments. I know we were talking yesterday, Hubert, you and I were talking about the situation, well, what would come up that might require a budget amendment, because we had an offer at that point. Did you ever found one? Jim, you want to explain it to us?
Those of you that are familiar with the airport know that we have one of the most critical parts of our airport and pieces of equipment that we have is our runway lights. The runway lights allow aircraft to take off and land at night or in bad weather, things of that nature. Those runway lights and the controls that operate the runway lights are 15 years old. They were installed in 2004. We have a controller in the main panel, which is the big green panel that sits out there, that is bad and cannot be repaired. We've had 2 different companies to look at it. Both of them are of the same opinion. That controller, the estimate that we have today is $55,000. Now, without that controller, what we are doing today is we have filed a note with the FAA that we are for daytime landing and takeoff only, which limits our airport tremendously. What I would request of you respectively is a budget amendment to allow us to purchase that controller and have it installed before the end of this fiscal year, which would be the 31st of December. It is a capital eligible project, and the price that I have, I got today from Mike Coleman, but we'll confirm that tomorrow. Precision Approach is the company that gave us the best price. They actually were the installers of the original runway lights in 2004. So I have lots of confidence in these people, but I respectfully request that we do a capital budget amendment to install that controller to put those runway lights back in operation this year.
David, on something like that, I was thinking that this would have to be bid out. This doesn't fall under what you were talking about yesterday, does it?
No, I just sent Sandy a question just then. I said, how did we get around the bidding requirements? That's what I was trying to figure out. It may have been discussed, but no,
Jim and I discussed the fact that, I think we're going to bid it out, but the question between us came up as to whether that would fall into the category that you were talking about yesterday in terms of public transportation.
Oh, you're talking about the roads and?
Yeah,
No,
I don't think this would qualify.
no, it would not.
Okay, so we will have to bid it out. If we treat it as an emergency, let's bid it out.
It's been a while since I looked at that. Let me see what's required in the
I think this
statute.
might be one that would qualify.
How long's it been down?
I think I can make the case for it.
No, I guess my question is, how long has it been down?
Well, the controller, we just have learned that the controller could not be repaired. The controller has been down for about 3 weeks there.
Yeah, see, that's the problem, is that typically emergencies require immediate action.
Yeah.
And, this-
But what we have been doing in the interim during that time is we've been filing a NOTAM and we've been physically turning the runway lights off at dusk. So, and filed a NOTAM with the FAA, no nighttime landing or taking off. So I think the FAA would consider it an emergency.
I mean, nighttime, let's just talk a little bit tomorrow about it, if that's all right.
Well, whether or not we have to bid it is really secondary to the budget process.
Let me give you an example of an emergency. Now, we have just moved an emergency operations center to the airport. Okay? We have medevac aircraft coming in there at all times. Without those runway lights, that aircraft cannot come in. We are discussing with Forrester right now for the purpose of fighting wildfires and forestry fires. Without those runway lights, they cannot utilize the airport. There are a number of things. Drug interdiction at night.
I tell you how we can get around the bidding requirements, if we'll get them to sharpen the pencil and get it down to 49.9, that's how we can get around it.
That would do it.
49, how about 49,999?
Charlie Wright signs a check and Karleen and Hubert signed off on it, so you can get it down to 49.99.
But if it's an emergency, it can exceed 50.
There's an affidavit
Well-
that's required, and I want to be careful. And
I can get the affidavit.
Here's what I would suggest, and I agree on this. Let's approve the budget amendment for 55, and if you can get them down to 49,999, great. We won't have to bid it, we'll save some money. If you can't, the amendment is approved, we just have to bid it in at that point. So,
I think our Public Works Director would give you enough justification to declare that as an emergency without any questions at all.
I move approval of the budget amendment as proposed.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Just say, if you sell it,
Okay. Resolution designating county legislative coordinator. I make a motion that we designate Edwina Damon as the county legislative coordinator, whether she likes it or not.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion and possible action of a 5-year agreement with Crowe Engineering for the airport. This is the base agreement that actually was discussed and everybody thought had been settled last year. And it turns out the county never signed off on it. So we need to approve that. This is the base agreement that's in place with Crowe. That is the basis for them working with us on our various grants. And in fact, the reason this came to our attention is because DOT in connection with one of those grants has asked for a copy of the master agreement between us and Crowe. So we do need to retroactively, I would imagine, approve that master agreement, and I would make a motion as such. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, does anybody need an executive session tonight? All right, that being the case, I would make a motion that we adjourn.
I did just say it.
Yes, sir.
I wanted clarification on that date
Okay,
of that because of the Croy piece, because neither one of us were in office at the time when we were talking about
Okay.
approving this, so I just asked our attorney how you handle that instead of you.
We'll date it effective from the date of this meeting and submit it back to them, and then if it presents a problem, then they'll let us know. But,
Okay, yeah,
I just saw that conflict.
yeah. So you're okay with it otherwise?
Oh, boy.
Okay. Then I will amend my motion accordingly.
Are you amending your motion for adjournment?
No. I thought I was gonna have to amend my motion for approval because of this.
I just need it.
You don't give me no hard time today anymore.
Did you get a second? Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Thank you, folks. We